And welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Season 3, Episode 6, called The Shadow in the Night. The embargo is lifted. I'll put the embargo synopsis up here with the due date. Directed by Marta Cunningham once again. In her hometown of Tanchico, Landrian confronts a traumatic event from her childhood. Meanwhile, Matt, Min, Elaine, and Nynaeve find themselves increasingly entangled with the powerful Black Arja. The Forsaken are closing in on Rand and Moraine as Mogadin, Lanfear, and Samael take drastic measures to achieve their goals. On a different note, Perrin enjoys a moment of respite with Vale. I think for me, so far, this episode has been my favorite. It's an hour and 7 minutes long, so it's like a mini feature in of itself. And most of these episodes this season have been as long as this, but for me, this one was the one that worked the best because we have great action set pieces, really great character driven arcs, but we're getting down to the crux. We're in the last 3 episodes now and things are unraveling. It feels like it's slow at times where there's needed to be a bit of slow kind of building up of character, again exploring what these powers are doing for whom. The one power shows itself in different ways with each character. And so there are kind of breathing moments in between the action or music. I've really enjoyed this one. I thought the pacing was just right. We really get to see a little bit of how strong and how powerful their foes are. The Black Arja are like at a level of, yeah, they're pretty powerful. We need to watch out for them. And then we have the Forsaken. We get a little bit of insight here for an origin of a Forsaken. And we get a little bit of an action sequence with a Forsaken. And the way they showcase this, I was mentioning in my last review, I think it was episode 5, how beautiful the one power looks. And we get a little bit of that as well. But we also get to see the other side. When used in a deathly way, how brutal it is. And there are a few death scenes that I was taken back by how just matter of fact they are. It doesn't stay and give pomp and circumstance to a death. Rather, they kind of just move on from it, which is great storytelling, great writing. If death comes with a magical element, there are ways you can just make it happen and move on. That's how a bad guy should be. Instead of, monologuing before they do that and give the good guys time to get away from that. I'm not saying they don't do that in this series, but this episode particularly I thought was a very kind of stark realization as to you think our good guys are getting a handle of their power, they may stand a chance at winning, and then we are shown how insurmountable the odds are at times. And when dealing with Rand, Egwene, and Lanfear, this romantic trio that is done loads of times in tropes and in dramedies, or what is called a romantasy series in books particularly, they have this trio, this triangle of love interest that, make for complicated drama on TV. We get more of that, but it kind of comes to a head here. I like the way the actors portray this because we're getting to see multiple sides, multiple facets of not just who they are, but who they are in a relationship. Rand kind of has had an angel on one side and a demon on the other side. But what I like about the demon side of this is that the demon is quite complicated rather than just be I'm evil for evil's sake. We're getting to see many sides of Lanfear, which I really appreciate getting into because it makes it difficult to completely, root against that character. Even though she's evil, there are moments of real chemistry between her and Rand and what seems to be love. On the other side, the strange relationship with Egwene and Rand has been teetering on its side for a while. This makes for some really great dramatic TV and is kind of the driving force, the backbone behind what's going on within this episode. With all the one power and all the plans that all the bad guys have and the good guys are trying to circumnavigate, there is a lot of this kind of romantasy edge going on. You also get a bit of a sing-song with some of the other characters. I won't spoil any of that for you because I think when you get to it, it's a much needed moment of levity. It gives you time to breathe with the fighting, the darkness, the deaths, the dramedy of these relationships, and then just the Forsaken being, that bad and evil And when we get this sing song, I was just like, this is cool. This is nice. And then we get back stuck into moving the plot forward. Perrin is heating up from the subsequent episode because of the rescue that didn't quite go to plan. And there again, we have an interesting relationship that is beginning to build itself. We are seeing all the players' plots and storylines now, where they've been teasing what's been going on. Now we're really getting into the meat of things. So even with the pacing up and down, action scenes here and there, romantic drama bits happening, I think the urgency behind the main arc is driving this episode, making it feel like it's really intense and makes that hour and 7 minutes fly by, making you want to watch the next episode. Let me know in the comments, are you looking forward to this episode particularly? I have loved every second of this season. I think they've done, like they're really hitting their stride now. Season 1 was a bit of a rocky start, but I still enjoyed. Season 2 is building up characters. The first half of Season 3 is a lot of character development, and our characters once again going out into the far corners of their world, learning to deal with their powers, come to terms with who they are, and seeing relationships broken and remended a number of times to get us to the position where 7 and 8 are going to be pretty action heavy drama, and don't expect all of our characters to survive it. So I'd love to know your thoughts on the season so far. Who is your favorite character to date? And once you've seen this episode, do come back and let me know what you enjoyed about this episode. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.